Okay. It is 11:51 p.m. and tonight is the last night that I am living in this t-shirt store. And it feels kind of weird, honestly. I won't be living here anymore.
Because you don't know who you're gonna meet.
I know what you're thinking. Johnny, what the hell are you talking about? T-shirt store? What? What? Huh? Who, what? Listen, my boss has been letting me live in her t-shirt store, and it's been about 8 months, and that's just crazy. It really doesn't feel like it's been that long. And I know what you're thinking again. Johnny, you must be pretty dang awesome if someone is letting you live in their t-shirt store, their place of business, where someone shouldn't be living. And you'd be right. I'm pretty awesome. And you know what? Since this is my last day living in this t-shirt store, I wanted to tell you the story of how all of this came to be. It's a story of passion and heart and the desire, love. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding, but I do want to tell you the story. I just don't know where to begin. So I guess I'll start at the beginning. Alright, so I got this nice little cozy, creepy, melancholy spot in the woods here. Perfect place to tell a story. So I used to live in Arizona with my mom, my stepdad, and my brother, but ever since I got out of high school, I was making horrible choices. I got involved in some really dumb stuff. I was completely unhappy, and for some reason, I just couldn't change while living in Arizona, so I knew that I had to leave. Now, one of my best friends was living in a really small town in northern Michigan called Boyne Falls at the time, and that's where I decided to go. So I packed up a bag, hopped on a bus, and I just left. I was gone. Adios. Sayonara. I straight peaced out. I did. Now, by the time I got to Boyne Falls, northern Michigan, I literally had nothing. My wallet had gotten stolen on my bus ride, and the one suitcase that I packed for myself that literally had everything in it got lost on the bus that left without me in Grand Rapids. And I was seriously John Doe. I had nothing but the clothes I was wearing, and that's it. That's it. But I finally got to my destination, and I was sleeping on the floor of my best friend's motel room, which was a really, really small room. Guys, I'm talking small. So small that if you had 3 people in the room at the same time, you'd be like, okay, someone's gotta leave. It's way too crowded in here. It was really small, and I was sleeping on the floor for months and months. Now I was trying to come out of the lowest point of my life. I was in a completely different environment. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that I had to do it. I wanted to start over fresh. Now, it took me a few months, but after a little bit, I started feeling better and I ended up getting my first job. Now, that job was cleaning rich people's mansions. Yeah. I'd be on my hands and knees wiping floors, scrubbing toilets, dusting, vacuuming. I hated it, but I liked the owner and her son. We got pretty close. And not too long after that, I got another job at the smoke shack down the street from where the motel that we lived in was. So on the weekdays, I'd be on my hands and knees wiping floors, and on the weekends, I'd be smoking fish and brisket and pork and all that, and I was doing all right. Now, the same people who owned the smoke shack also owned the motel that we were living in. And I started getting closer and closer to the owners. And not long after that, the owners of the smoke shack offered me to work for them full time. They were going to offer me more money, and they were going to buy me a car. Not even kidding. They offered to buy me a car for me to work for them. And by this time, I'm pretty close to the cleaning place too. So I told them about the offer. It was really hard for me to quit, but they tried to counter offer with paying me the same amount of money, and get this, buying me a car. Not even kidding. So I had both of these businesses fighting for me to work for them, offering to buy me a car. And guys, listen, that's why it pays to work your ass off. And here's a little tip. Go to any small town and just work. Good things will start happening. Maybe someone will even offer to buy you a car. So anyways, I went with the smoke shack because I didn't like cleaning houses. And not too long after that, I had a car. So I was already doing so much better than I ever was in Arizona ever. Soon after that, my friend and I ended up getting our own rooms in that same motel. It's called the Brown Trout Motel, by the way, in Boyne Falls, northern Michigan. And soon after that, my friend ended up meeting a girl, and I ended up meeting a girl. And things were fucking perfect, man. Things were perfect. I met a girl, I had a car, I was living on my own in a very small motel room, but nonetheless, I was doing so good. This is exactly why I went down here, you know? It's to get away from everything that I was doing in Arizona and start over fresh, where no one knew my history and my past. But as all good things come to an end, things started going downhill. Me and that girl decided to break up, and that kind of spiraled me into a sort of feeling worthless and hopeless. Like, yeah, I had a job, but I had no money saved up, and yeah, I had a car, but I was living in a motel room, a really small motel room. And I don't know, I just got in that mindset that I wasn't doing good at all. In my head, even though I was doing so much better than I was in Arizona, in my own head, I wasn't doing as good as I wanted to be. And then I just got into that routine, the same routine every single day. Going to work, coming home, going to sleep, waking up, going to work, coming home, going to sleep. There was nothing new. And if there's one thing about me, I can't stand monotony. I can't stand the same routine every single day. It drives me crazy. And I have no idea where this idea even came from at all. I have no idea. But one day I was just like, I wonder if I can design a t-shirt. I wonder if I can start a t-shirt business and get one of my shirts sold in a local store. I have no idea where that came from. I don't like graphic design, but I think it was from not doing anything that I needed something to keep my mind busy, something to work towards, or else I was gonna fall right back into that depression. So, within a few days, I had some designs. Within a week, I had my own website and I started it. I called it Succeed to Survive because I thought that's what best represented kind of like my story, you know? Just packing up a bag and moving to the other side of the country because I was just unhappy, doing whatever it takes to succeed. That's what I wanted to represent with this whole Succeed to Survive thing. After a month or so, I decided that, hey, I bet you I can save up so much money if I just started living in my car. Screw this small motel room that I'm paying $700 a month for, $600, $500, whatever it was. I'm just gonna live in my car. I don't need much. So that's what I started doing. I sold my computer for a laptop so I could still do my t-shirt thing. And I was living in my car, and I lived in my car for months. During that time, I started messaging different local brands, seeing if I could sell my t-shirts in their store. I was working so hard at this, I don't know why. It wasn't a passion of mine, but I just needed to keep myself busy. I sent out so many messages. Most of them didn't reply. I got some no's, but there was one person who gave me a chance. There was a local store in Boyne City, and the owner messaged me back with a proposition for me. Now, she wanted me to come in for like a couple days out of the week, so I would screen print her shirts, and in return, I can print my own shirts there for free. Now, I didn't even hesitate, and I said yes. So that's what I started doing. And I learned a lot about screen printing. I had no idea how to even do it. This was just all working out too perfect, you know? It was going too good. And then things just completely turned and went wrong. Now, one of my best friends from Arizona was visiting Chicago for his birthday, and I decided to drive over there and hang out with him for his birthday. And I'm glad I did, because the moment I got there, him and his girlfriend found out that they were pregnant, and I got to be there for that, for my best friend, and it was just so awesome. Anyway, on my drive back home to northern Michigan, I am such an idiot. I overheated my car by a lot, and it just stopped. It wouldn't even start, and I was stranded on the side of the road 2 hours away. 2 hours away from the smoke shack and the t-shirt store, and I was screwed. My car wouldn't start. I had no money. Just when things were getting good for me, you know, my car breaks down. I had no idea what to do. My friend ended up coming to pick me up, but we had to leave my car there. So I left my car on the side of the road 2 hours away. Now, the day after that happened was my birthday. And I was at work. I was just freaking out, like, how am I gonna get my car? I have no money. Is my car even there? I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I was living in my car. I needed that, you know? I think it was 2 or 3 days later, one of my friends ended up taking me back down to my car to get the things out of it and see what we could do. And luckily, it was still sitting there on the side of the road after 3 or 4 days. And I had just enough money to get it towed to the nearest scrapyard. It was such a good car, too. Still, but there was nothing I can do. I couldn't get it towed any farther than that. It sucked so bad. I had to scrap it. I had to scrap my car that I was living in. So that really, really sucked. Oh, and I totally forgot to mention that the day after my birthday, I got fired / quit my job at the smoke shack. So let's recap. My car breaks down, had to leave my car on the side of the road for like 3 days. The day after my car breaks down is my birthday, and I'm sitting at work freaking out. And the day after my birthday, I get fired / quit my job. And the day after that, I scrapped my car that I was living in. And I seriously had no idea what I was gonna do anymore, really. I was so screwed. So anyways, that brings us to Yvette. Now, I was working for Yvette doing the screen printing for free. She was the owner of the store. And at this time, I stopped doing my own t-shirts because I couldn't afford to keep my website up. And I had to let that go. I wasn't passionate about it. I fell right back into that low place, you know? And again, I had to start over. I had to start over again. Like, I built myself back up. I got a car. I had a job. I had another job. I had a t-shirt business. Like, I was doing things, and then within 3 days, it was all gone. And I had to start all over again. And I was back in that low spot. It sucked. But luckily, I met some really, really good people out here in northern Michigan, because without them, honestly, I'd be dead in a ditch, probably. It's a really good thing that I met the people that I did out here, because they've been instrumental to my life so far since I've been here in Michigan. So I told Yvette, the owner of the Smitten by the Mitten that I was doing the t-shirts for, I told her everything, and she, without even knowing me for too long, for like maybe a month or two, she allowed me to live in her t-shirt store for as long as I needed. She knew I wasn't doing good. She knew I was pretty much homeless. So she let me live in her place of business. That, let me tell you, is huge. That's a huge deal, you know? Like, who do you know that would let someone do that? I don't know anybody. Well, I guess I know one, you know? Oh, man. So, that's pretty much the story. And now I'm here. Now. I lived in that t-shirt store for 8 months. I lived in that t-shirt store for 8 months. Yvette let me live in her t-shirt store for 8 months. I was barely eating anything when I lived at the t-shirt store. I wasn't taking showers every day, and now I have my own room. I could take a shower whenever I want. I could do laundry whenever I want. Things are starting to slowly, very slowly, build back up. It's crazy because I don't even think about that I had to start over from scratch twice here in Michigan. But let me tell you, I wouldn't take it back. I'm so glad that I came here, because it brought me out of that low place that I was in originally. Granted, it did put me right back in there, but I feel like I need it. I needed that to happen. You know? I don't know, I guess I needed to feel that. So, that's the story. And now, we'll see what happens from there. You guys are all filled in with everything. I have a new passion, making videos. One of the first people that I met when I came down to northern Michigan was Alex. He's been in a few of my videos, and he's been doing photography and videos for like brands since I've known him. And it's just really cool because now I've started to take an interest in it, and it's really cool to have your friend like doing the same things that you do, you know? This is the new thing that I'm gonna do whatever it takes to succeed at, making these videos. It's starting to get dark out. I probably should leave, but guys, I really, really appreciate you watching this video. I know it's probably a long one, but I don't know, this was just really important to me, you know? Things are slowly starting to get better. This video wasn't to get anybody's pity, because I'm gonna do whatever it takes to do what I love, and that's all that I want. I don't want some job that I absolutely hate, absolutely dreading going to work every single day. That's not who I am. I wouldn't have got on a bus and moved to the other side of the country, okay? Really appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, peace out. Oh, sitting there so long, my knees, I can't walk. Oh. I really don't know why YouTubers do that. Just walking away from the camera like they're not gonna come back and pick it up. Oh, here's a little bonus story for you guys. So when I got to Michigan, I literally had nothing. The only thing I had was the clothes I was wearing, and that's it. So by the time I got my first job, my boss literally had to pull me aside and say, Johnny, you have to take a shower, man. He's like, you gotta take a shower or do laundry or something because you smell a little pungent. That's exactly what he said to me. And I had to look him in his eyes and say, I can't. I have no clothes to launder. I literally have nothing. I have one shirt, one pair of boxers, one pair of socks, and I don't even have any money, even if I did have clothes. So yeah, that was an interesting conversation. After that, I pretty much had to tell him my whole life story. Oh man, it sucked. Not the best of times, but very instrumental to who I am today. So honestly, I'm glad it happened. And I wouldn't take back anything. I wouldn't do anything any different. All of that just made me more hungry and more willing to do whatever it takes to do what I love, you know? To have the kind of life that I want.